Hello Classic Crew, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about 5 things my grandmother taught me. Last week my grandmother passed away, and I wanted to do a video talking about 5 things that she taught me. She and I were really very close growing up. I used to go to her house all the time as a kid. I remember her house vividly. And then she moved to an apartment when she got a little bit older that was nearer to where my parents lived. And I used to go over there every single Tuesday night for like the first 2 or 3 years of high school. So she and I were really close. Now, her death wasn't sudden. It was definitely something that was coming for a while, but it's still really sad and nostalgic when someone you love passes away. And even if it doesn't feel like it was before their time, it's still something that moves you. And I am gonna miss her, and I wanted to share 5 things that she taught me, because she did teach me things. And I remember that I would often write her letters and make her presents, showing all of the things that we shared and the memories that we had together. And it's just it's a meaningful time. So I want to share these 5 things with you. Hopefully you guys can learn something too. And before we get into today's video, I do just want to say, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. And if you'd like to subscribe to my Substack newsletter, it's classicallyabby.substack.com, and you'll get access to exclusive content. So now let's get into today's video. The first thing my grandmother taught me was how to have hobbies. My dad used to say about my grandmother that she was like the perfect candidate for being retired, because when she was retired, she like took advantage of that time and embraced all of the hobbies that she had. So she painted, she sewed, she knitted, and she taught me all of those things. She taught me how to knit, she taught me how to sew. She was the one who taught me how to do all of those things. And I remember going to her house as a little girl, and the first things we made a skirt with a drawstring. It was very simple. It was made of fleece. And we made a teddy bear that I gave to my mom. And I remember her teaching me all these things in a really fun way. And I always felt like she took me seriously and didn't just treat me as a kid. She really wanted me to learn. So she didn't always step in and tell me what to do. She would kind of let me make some mistakes and watch and help me learn things. And I think that the reason that I love kind of classic hobbies and these classic parts of femininity, I think a lot of that comes from her. And I didn't even realize it until I started thinking back about it, because I learned all of these feminine hobbies from my grandmother, and she taught them to me. And that's really meaningful when I think back on it. So now every time I sew or I knit, I'm gonna realize even more so that she was the one who imparted that knowledge to me. And that's really special. And I hope to impart that to my daughters and my children. And so, a little piece of her is being passed down always. Number 2 is something I remember her saying, which is, a little something sweet ain't gonna kill you. I remember her kind of having this attitude towards life of just, it's okay to have things in moderation. Don't like drive yourself crazy with this stuff. I remember every time I went to her house as a kid, she would make me chocolate milk. And I never got chocolate milk at home, so I would always have chocolate milk at her house. And that's what she would say. She would say, a little something sweet ain't gonna kill ya. And it made me feel so much more at ease about just what I was eating and things about life. Just like, it's okay to have some sweetness when, we know we wanna be healthy. We know we wanna do what's right for our bodies, but it's also okay to just enjoy life a little bit. And I think that that was just a really good lesson to get, even from the time I was a kid. And actually, my favorite movie now is the movie that I used to watch with her growing up all the time. We would make chocolate milk, and then we'd watch You've Got Mail. And those 2 things I remember vividly doing at her house all the time. Number 3 is that she taught me that creativity is never wasted. I'm somebody who feels a real pressure to, if I'm gonna do something, it needs to have a purpose. But my grandmother wasn't that way. If she painted, it didn't need to be sold. It didn't need to be shown in a gallery. It was something she loved doing, and then she would put it up on her own wall. You know, it was something that she did because she liked it. And she knew the value of creativity just for its own sake. And it's something that I have taken from her, and I want to live out more now that she's gone. I want to live that way more because of her influence on me. It's something that I think is really important. I remember going to her house. She used to have like a computer room. She really put her computer in her closet. And I used to sit in there and write. I would just write stories, and she would come over and bring me cookies or bring me something to drink, but not really bother me and just let me write. And then I would write and I would print it, and she would read it, and we would read it together, and she like would love it. And those stories were never used for anything. It was just for the two of us to share. And it was really special and fun. And something that she really encouraged in us was this feeling of, you should love to be creative because it's important to you as a person and expressing yourself. And I thought that was a really nice thing that she tried to impart to us. Number 4 is do something just because it brings a child joy. I remember as a kid, my grandma used to get perms, and she could get her perms with like big curls, or she could get these really tight corkscrew curls, and they were close to her head. And I think she liked the bigger curls better, but I liked the little corkscrew curls. And I would tell her that, and I said, I think you're so beautiful with the corkscrew curls. I love that. That's my favorite. And she would do it. She would get that hairstyle because I liked it. And I think that's just really sweet that she did that when I was like 7 or 8. I'm only realizing it now as an adult that she just did that because it was nice, not because she liked it. And I think that's a really nice lesson. Whew, that caught me off guard. I didn't expect to cry. But yeah, I just think that's a really nice way to live life, is like, she wasn't vain about it. She did something that she knew I loved. In the same way that everyone in my family called her Gaga because her first grandchild couldn't say grandma, and so that was her name. She became Gaga. Her first grandson called her Gaga, and that's what she became called. So my whole life, I called her Gaga. She's always going to be Gaga to me. And that I thought was very sweet. You know, she also had a necklace, a gold necklace that she wore all the time. And the kiddos would, when they were little babies, they would suck on it. And I don't think she cared, because when you looked at it, or I know she didn't care, because when you looked at it, it was really like all of the detail had worn away. But she loved that. She like loved that it was something that she could wear that showed her grandchildren's presence. And I just think that's like a lovely thing about her. And something I want to do as a mom is just doing something because it would make my kids happy. Like wearing something silly on a day that they want to choose my outfit. Like, I think that'd be so fun, is just not being so uptight all the time. And the last lesson I want to share that my grandmother taught me is that life is fun. Close to the end, she said to my dad about life, she just said it was fun because she knew that the end was coming. And I think that that's really moving. My grandmother treated life as a big adventure, and I would like to do that too. And I'd like to remember that in the times when things are hard, because she didn't have the easiest life. There were a lot of things in her life that were hard, but she still treated life like a big adventure. And I think that's a really good philosophy to have. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys can take my grandmother's lessons to heart and just live out her legacy, because she was a really special lady. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. And if you haven't followed me on social media, it's Classically Abby absolutely everywhere. If you'd like to follow me on Substack, it's classicallyabby.substack.com, and you'll get access to a lot of exclusive content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.